Back. I'm gonna delete these duplicates. Now we've got a texture, or unwrap should I say, the other parts of the box. We are done with these polygons as well, with these UVs, so I'm gonna set them to relatives and then move them up 2 as well. They will move on exactly where they need to be, next to the other ones. Okay, now at this stage I may want to do each 2 at a time together, and I could say do a planar mapping on them so they fit there, and then I'm going to get the scale tool, snap him halfway, and again. So now that's been snapped, and then I can turn that off. Now this is of course too big, so I may want to bring this hold shift and take him that way a little bit. See how that looks. Am I doing something wrong? Yes, I am indeed doing something wrong. What am I doing wrong? What I'm doing wrong is the fact that these 2 polygons need to have a planar mapping separately on them. And while I'm at it, I might as well do the side ones as well, because it will sit at the same place anyway. So I'm going to have all these 4 selected now, and then snap them to half and then half again. Turn that off. Let's have a look at this. I'm going to press F2 so I can see that better. So the lines have matched up almost. The only problem is I'm holding shift, by the way, while I'm dragging this. The only other thing is to make sure that they are correct. The most ideal thing to do here is, let me Control Z that. So imagine that we just scale these down, snap them to half twice. If I go back to brick and then turn the effects on, and you always want to leave the strokes on really until the very end. This way you will have a better reference to work from. So just wait for that to load as well. Okay, here again you want to just hold Control and Control and Alt, I believe. Scale these down. Let's zoom in here. Control Alt to scale them down. So this way we are sure that we are continuing to the part where it snaps to, or the part where it tiles from. Shift and drag that over to there, and then we should be good, and that looks pretty good, and that looks pretty good as well. Okay, I'm just gonna have to pause the video for a second and I'll come back. Okay, right, so the sides match up. Let's do, I'm not sure if the other sides matter, but let's just do them anyway. Okay, so we want to have, I press F2 to toggle between these two viewing modes. I want to do a plane mapping on that, and then another one on this, and then that there, and that there. Select all 4. Actually, I think I made a mistake. The mistake I made was that when I had these selected, I should have moved them by 2 units as well, so they're not in the way. Okay, so now, oops. So now everything that I have here is just these polygons at the top, at the bottom. So again, turn scale on, snap it once and snap it twice, and we can turn that off, I suppose. and then hold Control and Alt, scale that down that way a little, and probably just scale these down holding Shift around there. Let's see how they look. Pretty okay, I guess. So we're not gonna be too picky about these. So we're gonna push them across as well. Right click, convert to the poly. So that is done. Okay, so now the next stage would be creating a block for these. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to create a block for these, and I will also need to create one corner block because these edges come out. So I'll need to fix. We need to have a block for that as well. Excuse me. Okay, so our object has always been isolated so far. So I'm going to right click and exit isolation. I'm going to delete that. This model, it's already unwrapped and it's already pretty much ready. So the best thing is to try to reuse this rather than create a new one. So I'm going to shift, make sure I'm snapping to grid point, shift and drag that down here so it snaps. Make sure it's a copy non-instance. I'm going to isolate this. Now this only needs to be 1 grid tall. So what I'm going to do is I could delete this one. I'm just thinking whether it's best for me to delete it, or yeah, I'll probably just delete that. Or what I might even do is turn snap off, double click on this loop here, and I hold Control, press backspace in order to remove that. But before I do that, maybe if I click on preserve UVs here and I do that, no, it still doesn't like it. Okay, let's delete those polygons and let's recreate those. Bridge that to that and bridge that to that. I'm not sure if we actually have to worry about the texture on these because they're not going to be seen. The other block will always, at some point, will always be on top of them, so we don't really have to worry about that. So this itself becomes another block that we can use. And this one is pretty much finished and ready. I really couldn't care less about these top ones because there will always be something on top of them. So I'm going to exit isolation. So there we go. The first one took us a bit, but this one now, of course, doesn't take as long, or anything after this that we create won't take as long. So I'm going to call this wall underscore 128 by 128. I'm going to call this wall 128 by 64. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this, or get a duplicate and move it over here. Cancel that actually. Make sure I'm snapping, hold shift, snap that to that, press OK. Now if I click on this, actually no, I'm not done yet, because what I need, I forgot to actually address this problem. What I need is to select these edges, give it one connection. Now if I was to move this up right now, by default preserve UVs is off. If I was to move this up now, you can see that it will start stretching my texture, and that's not what I want. If I say preserve UVs and then move this up, hopefully it'll try to keep them in place like it has done here. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to select these and very slightly I'll press snap off. I'm going to move these forward, and I don't want to move them to a random value. I want to move them by a certain value. I do not like the effect that I'm receiving here, so I will need to go and fix this one. because if you look at this, the texture kind of bulges out a little bit, so it kind of comes out just like that. Very little, but it gives that detail into it, which is really good. But I don't want to move it by any random number. I want to be a little bit specific. So I'm gonna go and right click on my move tool, and in the y-axis I want to move this by minus, let's say 16. That's way too much. Let's do that by minus a 4, minus 8. Yeah, minus 8, so that the detail is visible. Okay, now we have a problem. This bit is fine. We have a problem here that we need to solve. So I'm gonna go to unwrap UVW map. I'm gonna select these two polygons, open UV editor, and see the problem. They're over there. So I may do just a planar mapping on them. Turn that off. And I am going to, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the texture. That's where the texture is. Snap scale. Scale once and then twice. And that's how that looks. Of course, it's a little bit too big. So I'm gonna have to snap that way once, and that should look better, hopefully. But actually, before I snap this, I'll probably just go in and turn the snap off and make sure I'm not within the bleeding area. So I'm just gonna hold is it Alt and Control, and then get snap and just snap this while holding shift once. So that's that sorted. That one seems to be fine, and I'm fine with this. If you like, then you can now select these ones and then tell them to come back. So you could select them all and then make sure you have this on and say -2 here, and they should all jump back to 0, which is fine. I should actually probably go ahead and do the same thing for this one. So if I select the top polygon model and say unwrap, open UV editor, I can now grab these and then probably do it in polygon mode and then say relative -2, and that will jump back, convert it to a poly. Okay, so I'm gonna move this up by cancel that, make sure I'm doing that by grid, get the grid on, top view, shift and drag that over here, and make sure it's a copy, because what I need to do with this one is get the side and pull it out as well. Pull just this one. Oops. Turn snap off. Kind of stretches the model. Preserve view could help, but yeah, of course creates that additional annoying edge there. X, I think we used, how far did we move that? I think we moved it by was it 8, I think, or should I say -8? Does that look right? That looks, yeah, it looks right to me. But of course we'll need to fix that here, that one polygon, and that as well actually. So these 4 actually need to be fixed. So let's select these 2 top ones And well, that's gonna make it difficult because let's have a look. Unless if we just give up and say we don't mind a tiny little bit of a stretching, turn preserve UVs off, but that just looks bad. That just looks a little bit too bad. Let's go to, okay, let's leave this as it is. This bit looks fine. This is the part that doesn't look too fine. Let's go to unwrap and open UV editor. And let's select this vert here. This one vert. And see if we can see that only that would fix it and that wouldn't really help. See, the solution to this would be to go and have the same texture over here so that it would tile, but that will probably take a while, so I'm not interested in doing that. I'll leave this for now like this as it is, and if I have the time I'll come back and try to fix it. It's a little bit distorted, but I mean actually can't really tell if you're kind of far away. You could tell when you zoom in a little bit, but it's okay I guess. Anyways. So what we have here, I'm going to copy the name of this actually, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to have, sorry, that shouldn't say 0, that should say 64, and that should also say 064 underscore corner. Okay, so we've done these ones, and at the same time we have managed to texture the inside as well. A little bit stretchy in there, but we'll probably have the other wall come in here, so we shouldn't have to worry about it. So what that means is we will probably end up selecting these and angle snap tool on, shift A, OK, and move them up here like this. But of course this one, let's have a look. This is where these two meet up, and this one might need to be mirrored, I believe. No copy. Okay. Grid on top. Let's have a look. I think we should have moved these a little bit more so they would have met here, because right now we end up with this not very nice looking gap between the two edges, which I believe could have been solved if this section, these polygons, moved forward, oops, a little bit more. or should I say these side polygons could move a little bit more. Maybe I was wrong in my calculation in terms of how far this should have moved. Let me snap to vert here and see how far that's moving. That's moving by 2, 3, 6. I'll have to have that there and have that one here so that they may match. Now there's a little bit of a weird artifact going on, but I don't think we need to worry about that too much. Should fix itself when it's being rendered. I really don't like the way it's being stretched, to be honest. We have to find a solution to this. We can't leave it like this. Unacceptable. So look. So we have that, and then we have this, which is over there, and we have. Oh wait, I see what the problem is. Or do I? Because if it was to mirror that on X or Z, what do I want to mirror this in? I want to mirror it that way and then move that over here. Why am I not snapping? Okay, there's that tiny gap there, which could be fixed if the side ones, the smaller ones, were to move a tiny bit. That way. So to vert, so that. Okay, let me undo all of that and delete these two. Select these two, rotate them one more time. Oops. Hold shift while I do that and make sure angle snap tool is on, so I snap to 90 degrees. Then they can be snapped. Oops. On grid points to here. Well, bottom piece needs to be rotated or mirrored even. That comes here. But again, I forgot to do what I wanted to do. It's the same thing. Sorry, I need to delete these two, and I need to shift and drag these. So again, shift and drag these 90 degrees, but do a instance of them. Move them there, and then this one can then flip, and then be over here as well. Now the top view, if I was to select one polygon and move it here, then both would move, and then we can see the exact value that we need, which is this one. Okay, so now I could go and delete this and this, and over here I could put a unwrap modifier on top, and try to see if there is anything I could do to fix this, which I doubt there is because it's not a fully tiled texture. Let's see, that side doesn't look bad. It's more like the other side that can't really handle much of it. The bottom ones seem fine. It's just this one polygon up here that's giving us a problem. So what if I was to select just that one polygon and just trying to think what I could possibly do. I could try going to edges of a poly. I could try isolating this. I could try have preserve UVs on, click from this edge to this edge, and then connect that, and then target weld that vert2 over there, and then select that one, oops, and move it, snap it to vert, move it over there, and then in the unwrap, I could try to come and again, I'm not sure if that's working, but let's have a look. That one image could move that way, and do, of course, by doing so, distort everything else as well. Let's connect that as well. Preserve UVs. Target weld that to that. Select that. Snap that to that as well. Let's try unwrap again. I'm just trying to compensate between the two textures, and I think this is as best as it can get in this case, unless if I was to go ahead and try manipulating my textures file, which would confuse you guys too much, and I don't want to do that. So I'll leave this as it is for here, and let's isolate the selection. So we've done these. Let's create something for that. Again, as this is already created, we can just shift and drag that up here. Get a copy, not an instance. And this one we said is going to be a 32, so that's 64, that's 128, that's going to be 32, which means it will be half of this, which means I will need to go and alter my grid to 32 rather than 64. And what I need to do here is create a connection. You can see it says exactly on that grid line there. Delete the rest, and I could, just like what I did for the bottom bit, I could go ahead and bridge that and bridge this. Again, not caring about how this looks because it won't be seen in the game anyway. And then what I might do is, in the front view, make a few connections there, maybe around. Let's have a look at the design. So it comes out, goes in, so out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in. Maybe that's it for now. So let's see how this looks then. Preserve UVs on this side. Just gonna give it a bit of a design, so maybe don't preserve UVs, just stretch it. Nah, preserve it. Shoot that out. Shoot this out. Maybe turn snap off for a just trying to give it a acceptable design. I think I'll give you something like this that just goes around. And of course, what's on this side will need to be preserved. Actually, so like if I was to select these ones, because these ones clearly fine. So if I was to select these ones, and then actually no, not have those selected, just put unwrap on before selecting any of that, and then go to Open UV Editor. I should theoretically be able to just mirror this and place it exactly on top of the other one, which doesn't have a problem, and hence creating this, which makes it easy for me to deal with. Now this is a part of our wall, but this would have to be wall 128 32 underscore no, just that really. And then I could shift and drag that while I have snap on, make a copy there. Now this one again, we'll have to give it the same cornered look, if you like, which in this case we would need to select these edges. Actually, before I do that, let me go to top view and let me shift and rotate this, get an instance, and move this up here. Again, making sure that I'm snapping to grid points. Okay. And over here what we need is to just select this one edge and move it, oops, this way. Is it affecting the other side? Yes, it is. So I didn't have to. I did have to mirror. I think I forgot to mirror it actually. Okay. So now just move these out until they meet up, in which case I may have to make sure I snap to vert and snap that to these vertices over here. Does the texture look too stretched, or? Now it looks fine. Of course, now I can deselect, I can go to the left viewport, deselect that, move these back, deselect that, move these, and just snap them to these corners. And like that, I've created the side image as well. Again, some distortions there, but oh well. So I'm gonna name this underscore corner. Let me save my work. I'm gonna save it in desktop and tutorials. Oops, video tutorials. There's Max Mansion. Just call it building or something. Doesn't matter. Okay. So now what we've done, 1, 2, 3. What we need to create now is a side one over here. Creating that is very simple because it's just a duplicate of that. So what I could do here, I could shift and drag that 90 degrees, make sure it's a copy, and on the left viewport, all I would need to do is select the vertices and delete the first ones, and that will leave me with that. But I do end up with this gap here, which I would need to bridge, which it doesn't like to bridge apparently. Now in this case, these sides could actually matter, so I'm going to fix this. I'm going to go to unwrap, and I'm going to go to open UV editor. I'm going to see my texture file. I'm going to have my these done separately, so I'm actually, before I do that, I might select everything and move everything relatively up by 2 units. Now let's just select this one, on, off, planar, on, off. So now I have 2 of these, and I'm going to scale these to percentage 1 and again 2. I can take that and turn it off. Control and Alt in order to bring that inside my black area. And then I might want to just get the scale tool while holding shift and drag these around there. That's good. I could also go select everything else and say come back to -2 and convert to the poly. Save them. That's so. This could now be my. I'm gonna turn my grid back to 64, and now these would, snap. Making sure I snap into grid points. could snap right there. Need be. Great. Let's save these. Okay. What else do we need here? Let's have a look. We're gonna come back to the doors and windows. To be honest, I think the only thing left now is the doors and windows, and of course, I mean, we need to come and create these, but I might just create these separately rather than yeah, I'll probably come model these separately, individually on their own. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so with what we have so far, I could go in, shift and drag that over there, get a copy, and let's just look at this area of the building we've been working with so far. I could shift and drag that over there, and I could shift and drag that over there, and then just mirror it into place. And this way we have ended up with at least a front bit of the building, but at the same time we have texture for the inside as well. And I don't care about this. Maybe I should have cared about it, but because my window will probably have some sort of a frame that will go and cover that anyway, so maybe not something that I have to worry about too much. Overall, I think that's looking good. I'm gonna stop the video here, take a break. I'll come back and we will continue. Thank you.